Show is on the air everywhere, and we are doing it this hour. Got you covered with some Beach Boys. Yeah. Andy Kim is going to be along, some Leslie Gore, Van Morrison, the Brown Eyed Song, Al Green, Otis Redding, lots more. As we get set for IWT, the Oldies Radio T-shirt, the official attire of summer. That happens in Sue on a Thursday on the Foster Show.
During the Vietnam War, Air Force Captain Bob Pardo was flying in a formation of F-4 Phantoms on a bombing run over North Vietnam when one of the planes was hit by anti-aircraft artillery. Captain Pardo and his co-pilot elected to stay with the crippled jet. When the jet began running low on fuel, Pardo, unwilling to abandon his fellow airmen, began an unheard-of endeavor. He had the other plane lower its tailhook.
You heard right. I said drop your tailhook.
Pardo carefully started nudging the jet to give it extra momentum. Despite losing one of his engines, Pardo pushed on until they reached the Laotian border, where both crews safely ejected. Word of the heroic Pardo push quickly circulated, but it wasn't until 1989 that Pardo and his co-pilot Steve Wayne received their official recognition and were awarded Silver Stars. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Bob Pardo and Colonel Steve Wayne, American heroes.
Education is the doorway to opportunity, and all you have to do is open the door to your education center. Your education counselor can help you enroll in a college or vocational school back in the States before you PCS. Counselors have information on most colleges and vocational technical schools. Find out which school is the one for you from your education counselor before you PCS, and enroll while you're still in Europe. It's simple. See your education counselor for details.
Here's what you need to do, pal. Get yourself one of those little...
Well, if you ask me, you need to really look into this.
Hey, Bob, I just heard the scuttlebutt. Well, you aren't going to believe
Good
this.
information can sometimes be hard to come by, especially when it comes to understanding powers of attorney. Get the right information straight from the source. Consult your legal office before giving a power of attorney.
The answer is life is a fountain.
Dr. Len Kravitz, professor in exercise science, with the facts on flexibility.
The most misunderstood component of fitness is flexibility. The key thing with flexibility training is post the workout, you should do some slow, sustained stretching that help elongate the muscle, reduce soreness, and in the long run, it will help to prevent any injuries and soreness from the workout.
Get the facts and get fit.
The holidays are finally here, or they might as well be. In the past, you might have tried to make a winter reservation with the Armed Forces Recreation Centers in Europe and found that they couldn't accept any more reservations. Well, those days are over because the AFRC resorts in Garmisch and Chiemsee are making it fair for everyone by holding a lottery to decide if you'll be vacationing with them this winter. For more information and to fill out your lottery application, log on to www.afrceurope.com. Remember, the deadline for submissions is August 6th, and once again, that web address is www.afrceurope.com.
For Dottie by request, there is his Midnight Confessions Foster Show. On this day in history, MTV made its debut in 1981, but back then, M actually stood for music. VH1 and Entertainment Weekly have named the Beatles' first appearance on Ed Sullivan as the greatest rock and roll event ever. You ever heard about this? My money was on Gomer Pyle singing Blowing in the Wind. I don't know if you ever heard that or not, but it was really kind of a unique deal there. All right. So Beatles, Leslie Gore, Carlton, Manfred Mann, and more coming up with Foster.
AP Network News, I'm Craig Smith. He's still in intensive care and will be hospitalized another 5 days or so, but Gerald Ford is doing much better. Doctors in Philadelphia say Ford is improving from the 1 or 2 small strokes he suffered at the Republican convention.
His prognosis is very good for recovery. In fact, he's also already showing signs of recovery from this morning till this evening.
A full recovery is expected. At the moment, though, Ford is still having some mild balance problems and his speech is slurred. He's 87 years old. The balloons are in place. The rehearsal is now complete. The curtain set to rise on night 3 of this nomination convention. Here's correspondent Lisa Mayer.
The theme of the evening, Craig, is the new economy. The main event, the final part of the so-called rolling roll call, which will put George W. Bush over the top in the delegate count. Also tonight, we're expecting the nomination of Dick Cheney as the GOP's vice presidential candidate. That followed, of course, by his acceptance speech among the speakers, underscoring this economic theme of the proceedings. House Budget Committee Chairman John Kasich, he'll talk about the Republicans' push to translate the government's bodacious budget surplus into tax breaks for Americans. Craig?
A new poll says George W.